Welcome to another episode of the Granite List Live, where we discuss all things related to employee benefits and human capital. I'm Lee Dill.
And I'm Sally Pace, and we are excited to have a return visitor to the show, Kari Niblack with Blackwell Captive Solutions. You serve at the helm as the president there. And I know, the last time we chatted, we talked a good bit about the formation of Blackwell, why, and the history behind it. So today I want to focus a little bit on your future, where you've brought it to and where you're going. And Kari, some of the terms that you all use frequently, some of the things that you're very proud of that you've done are two different components: transparency and ease of access in the captive space. You're really breaking the mold, and that's a focus for you and the team. Can you talk to our audience about what those two things even mean?
Yeah, first of all, let me say thank you. It is a pleasure to be with you again here and spend time with you and your audience. So, transparency obviously is forward in our organization. It is of high importance to us. And breaking the mold, being a next generation captive solution. And by that, I mean everything is both authentic, ease of access, and information forward. So we like to say, Sally, that we are informal in corresponding, but we are informative. And I think that best serves our audience. But when we look at what is one of the most significant challenges that employers face right now, obviously, it's the relentless rise in healthcare cost. And we have this push pull going on with clients on reducing cost, but also enhancing benefits for both retention and just overall good of employee population. And so when you look at all of that together, our job is to come in as a risk mitigation solution with Blackwell Captive Solutions and make all of that better. Transparency very much forward as we are working through the overall risk that we want to rate for a client, coming up with a solution, and obviously putting that in place. So data analytics are very important, communication very important, and we like to feel that the ease of use and access to our team is unprecedented.
And when you talk about transparency, is it transparency in value, in pricing, in response to the client? What exactly are you talking about there?
Yeah, let's talk about all of this because it's all of that, Sally. It's transparent in all of those. So let's start with transparency and access. My mobile phone number is published, and any given day, any of our clients, any participants, any of our consultant partners can call me. I think that's refreshing and rare these days. Same with your company, I know, by the way. Secondly, transparency in the financial commitment that clients will be making. So, to the penny, our costs are transparent and disclosed on a one page, easy to understand spreadsheet. So, everything we do revolves around this is the maximum liability for a client and how we back into those expenses. There is no surprise, there's no guessing. And I think when we're dealing with what is the number one expense, usually behind payroll for any size company, that is refreshing. So there's no mystery. And I think along with that, it's important to note that captives have been around for decades, but there was always this mystery around them. We are here to make everything about the solution transparent to your audience. And I think that's hopefully unique and refreshing for them.
Kari, thanks so much for sharing how transparent your organization is. And I know that is one of the ways that Blackwell stands out above the others. I know you've told us some stories offline about how every client is like a family to you. Can you share an example of how you do care for every one of your clients?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So we recently had a client that they're up for renewal. We're the incumbent. It's a small client comparatively. It's about 70 lives. And they had a high dollar claimant, one of those unexpected cases that hits you, and it's just so tough financially. So one of the participants had a massive stroke. We're looking, guys, at plus $2 million in claims. And that comparatively vis-a-vis with the premium structure means that that has been a very bad loss year. But what we also know is very important is that's a family. Both the owners of that company, the participant, their family. And so In our industry, it would have been easy just to say, hey, we're going to decline to quote. But we took the exact opposite route and hands on, first of all, digging into the data analytics and the case management. What's the prognosis? What's the status? How do we best help this client, this family, this patient, and also take good care of our reinsurance partner from a risk standpoint? Everybody needs to win in this scenario, with this set of facts. We went to the lengths of, we flew and invited the chief underwriter executive team of the carrier to Indianapolis. I was having team meetings, and we spent upwards of 3+ hours with this team talking in person about, here's the data, here's what potentially we can do. And I think those type of personalized, unique, innovative steps, it's a relationship business. And we never want to lose that, right? But having that dialogue with those folks, being in constant communication with the broker, who is a fantastic firm out of Ohio, all of those things led to Blackwell successfully renewing this client. And again, everything about that story is both the combination of innovation and personalization. So I love that story because it was a win-win for everybody and what could have been a lose-lose for everybody. And that is the level of difference with Blackwell Captive Solutions that I'm talking about when we say we are access and transparency forward.
Kari, you've mentioned a couple of times the importance of and the use of data.
Mm-hmm.
Can you dig a little bit deeper into that and talk to our audience about what you're looking for in data and then how you use it?
Yeah, Sally, I have this wonderful 30 years experience of running TPAs, and that data around what's going on in any particular client's plan, or even to the participant level of cost of care, of how do we help that individual. Usually they've either been injured or they are sick. And I take that to a personal level of, that data tells a story for us. So how do we come in as solution providers and work with our vendor partners, work with the medical team, work with the family, work with the owners? So I'm an old-fashioned girl in that it's like a book. Like, I can pick up a reporting package from a client and I can look through that, and in 5 minutes I can tell you that story. That's a skill and years of practice. And so if we use the analogy there to this particular client in the renewal in a very pro participant way, we wanted to know, does this participant need help with rehabilitation? Have we been working with that team? What's the prognosis? How do we help either get them back to work or get as much cognitive ability back as we can? And that was forward for us before we ever got to the numbers. And yes, we did have to get to the math of the renewal because we were the incumbent, but all of that was of core importance to us. But, the data and understanding that for the plan. And it goes much bigger, because even bigger than that participant at a 30,000-foot layer, as we go into 6 months, 9 months meetings with clients and consultants, what are our suggestions to further mitigate risk? So we look at trends in that data analytics, places of service, diagnosis. Are we seeing patterns? And I'll do you one better, even tying in, am I seeing a lot of injuries that might be something we need to know about from an HR standpoint for logistics at workplace? Are we seeing a spiked use of emergency rooms where urgent care or telehealth or another solution might be a fifth of the cost and easier to access? There's been a whole movement too towards solutions that are new to this space, virtual physical therapy, things like that, where you can use the data to really have the client understand what's going on with their plan. And I think it's really important that that be not just a one-time at renewal discussion, Sally, but a frequent quarterly discussion as the year's going on. Because the really cool thing, guys, about self-funding is you can pivot on a dime with a plan. You don't have to wait till renewal. And as that's really important when you're looking at millions of dollars of costs. So I'm a data geek. And I still, even at a president level, right? I'm reviewing that. If anyone had doubts about that, I'm not immune from that. I actually enjoy it. I still lead and attend with my staff client renewals. Those are still meetings that I absolutely enjoy participating in, and I think our clients do as well.
Thank you, Carrie, for sharing those stories. And I love how you're leading a team and really digging in with them to make sure that your clients are taken care of. And it sounds like you've been recognized from that for some big industry awards that we at the Granite List Live are excited to tell our community about. Drum roll, please. Carrie, can you tell us what you've been nominated and awarded this year?
Well, that's very sweet of you. I am beyond proud and very proud of the team to share with you that we have been awarded and nominated, shortlisted for multiple awards in the captive industry space. So, starting with Captive International, I am one of 50 awarded top 50 most influential women in the captive space. And so that's some heady company, right? With women innovators and leaders. It's an inaugural award. And I couldn't be more proud of that as we promote and mentor young women in our industry. I'm very passionate about sending that elevator back down as many times as we can to lift others up. And mentoring is one of my favorite parts of my job. So we're delighted to have that recognition from Captive International and also applaud the other award winners in that category, some just really exceptional women in the space. Likewise, we have been shortlisted for 2 awards with Captive Review. One is Captive Service Professional of the Year, and the other is Captive Manager of the Year. So again, I'm very flattered that's peer nominated. So very flattered to be notified of being on the short list of those 2 awards. And again, congratulations to all of my fellow nominees and the 2 entities. We continue to feel this is a space that is ripe for not only financial solutions, but when we look at individuals and our teams, ripe for long-term careers and success. We continue to see growth in all of those areas in the captive space. So thank you very much for the question. And again, very, very honored to have been a recipient of those.
Congratulations.
It goes to show that all that hard work has paid off. And so we're delighted that we get to be one of the news channels, if you will, breaking this news to let people know that you really are walking the walk. And like you said, the fact that some of these awards are peer nominated shows that your competitors and others in the space know that you're walking the walk too. And that has to be huge, not just for you as the leader, but for the rest of your team that I know is so proud to support you.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, we just feel very honored. And it is, to your excellent point, and a tribute to this entire team from concept to founding to, as we continue building and growing the company. I couldn't be more proud of all of them.
And we're proud and delighted that we get to partner with you guys. You all really are doing incredible things in this space. So, with that, I want to thank you for letting us share not only the story of how you got off the ground, but how you've grown and where that has taken you. And in a couple of months, we expect to have you back on to talk about what the future holds. So, Kari, thank you for being a part of today's episode. And thank you to our audience for listening to another episode of the Granite List Live.
Thank you. I'll keep coming back as many times as you all have me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Granite List Live. Access our entire library by visiting your favorite podcast venue or subscribe on our site, thegranitelist.live.